What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. This is the Matt Ramage Show. This is the pregame show, and I'm here with the legendary Jimmy. But before we bring him into this thing, big shout out to Quick Trip, sponsored my podcast, sponsored everything that I do, and I appreciate them. Be sure to check out the Quick Trip Rewards app, and be sure to check out the take-home meals. I've been talking about these for a little bit, but they are legendary. People, if you don't tell them that you got it from Quick Trip, they'll just think that you know how to cook now. You know, I made this chicken by hand. I went out and got me some chickens, wrangled them up, and I made this chicken. You know what I mean? But big shout out to Quick Trip for sponsoring everything. And everyone know I do have a live watch party at 7 p.m. Central Time. I'll be starting this thing. But what is up, Jimmy? How are we feeling, Dave? We got the playoff football, baby.
We're in it. I do. I'm so pumped. I woke up this morning. My daughter woke me up at 6. And after I got mad at her for waking me up at 6 a.m., I immediately was like, oh, God, I got 13 hours until this Packer game. I am so excited for it. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Dude, yeah, I had a couple beers last night, and I was arguing with people on the internet, Niner fans. But then I had to get up at 2:30 in the morning to go to work. And then I made another video. I'm like, I got more to say. But but the thing about me is like I don't care about people who have different opinions than me, but like I get triggered when they're like, you don't have a chance. The Packers people are like, they're barely in the playoffs. I'm like, you're not barely. You're either in or you're not in. Like the Vikings, not in. Packers, in. That's how you know. But
it's not like you can only play with like 50% of your team. There's no hey, you guys are in, but you're barely in, so cut 10 people. Like that's not a thing. You're in the playoffs. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, dude. But I'm absolutely jacked about this game. I'm not nervous. I mean, I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous before every game, especially like big games like that. Obviously, I think I'd be an idiot not to be nervous. But before we get going into this conversation, I want to give a shout to Nick Law, also sponsoring me, and I appreciate them. I actually had a chance to talk to him. He's actually a really cool guy. He has a Wisconsin tattoo on his arm. Like this guy is just like every Wisconsin dude. Went to school in Green Bay. When I was talking to him. Like I probably hung out with him. I was probably at a party at some point with him. I think the age is a couple years difference. But like I bet I might have shotgunned a beer somewhere near him at one point. But I mean, not that I was underage drinking, but
body shots.
But also it's award-winning lawyer, so it's not just a Wisconsin guy. It's also a great lawyer. So big shout out to Nick Law. And all right, so let's talk about this game. And I want to say what's up. Appreciate everyone who's popping in here in the chat. But so what do you think? Look, I think every podcast talking about the Packers, you got to ask that same question. What are the keys to the game? No, but what are for me? I think Aaron Jones is going to be huge. So I'll say what do you think the Niners are going to try to take away from the Packers?
I think the big thing is you take away, just like you said, Aaron Jones. You take away the consistency, the veteran that can rely on. Like what is he now? 4 games in a row of 100+ yards. It took him until the end of the year because he's been hurt for so long. That's the thing. You stop him, you take away kind of the safety net of Jordan Love, of Matt LaFleur, make it all rely on a first-year starter, and they're going to try to pressure him after that. I think it's their big thing of I was listening to people much smarter than me. I want to give credit to it. I think it was the Ringer NFL show with Ben Solak. They were saying the Niners, they want to go for that first quarter lead, because then they can just pressure that quarterback, because that's Chase Young and Bosa. That's what they got. That's the key to it. So I think we have to drag it out. We have to be the physical team for once. We have to be that young, hungry, physical team. Hit them in the mouth, keep hitting them. You got to be physical with this team. That is the weakness of a Shanahan team. Hit them in the mouth and keep doing it over and over again for 4 quarters.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what they did with the Cowboys. They came out. I think they got to come out hot, and then they got to stick with Aaron Jones. Even if I was rewatching that Cowboys game yesterday. The thing that I thought was really good about that Cowboys game is that very first drive didn't start off clean. Aaron Jones ran into his offensive lineman. It wasn't real clean, but they ended up getting down the field and get a touchdown.
Terrible start. Terrible first 2 or 3 plays.
Sometimes these young teams, when that happens, even earlier in the year, it's kind of like, oh, here we go. And it's kind of like, this isn't working. And then they end up having to punt or whatever, but they kept it going. They went down there. And that's what I like about these young team. Lately, dude, they're just not giving up. But yeah, Aaron Jones, I think, is huge. The defense has to play physical. I don't know a lot about Purdy. Like everyone's talking about. I see people saying how great he is. People saying how terrible he is. I don't have really an opinion on him because if I say anything, Niner fans freak out and they're like, "You're such a hater." But his numbers are, I think, similar to Love, aren't they?
They're good. So it's exactly what Shanahan and Bosa.
Hey, my first beer. I'm gonna crack my first beer here with Jimmy for the evening.
Oh, Coors Light, great choice. I got this from Quick Trip. I got my Bud Light hard soda variety pack.
All right, that's like
we're getting
like
weird
drinking. Like, yeah, you're in for the long haul with that situation.
Oh yeah, these don't taste like alcohol, so I'm really hoping to get to the end of the game.
Yeah. By the end of the game, your wife's gonna be mad at you for something. You're gonna do something.
She already. I love Des dearly. She literally looked at me. She was like, "Hey, when the game starts, I'm gonna take a bath and go to bed." I was like, "Great choice. That's smart." Avoid me at all costs, dude.
Yeah, that might save you a fight for the morning, though.
For real. But no, it's exactly what Shanahan and Nick Bosa try to say about Jordan Love. Of like, oh, he plays in the system. He does what he's told. He does what he's coached to do. Which for Jordan Love, his off-platform throws, his extending the play, buying time, we already know what they said. They're full of crap. But that literally is Purdy. Like, there's a reason Purdy was the last pick in the NFL draft. He was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. Is he's not that good. Like, he's in the perfect system for him. You pluck him out and put him on any other team, he'd be in my mind like a Baker Mayfield. If you put Baker Mayfield on the 49ers, I'm sure he'll be a decent quarterback. And it's not taking anything away from him. He's doing everything he's supposed to do, but it's not like we're playing a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. This guy is beatable. Like, it is. It's just a fact. Like, he's a beatable quarterback.
All right. I'm going to get this comment right here. He said, Matt, over under beers consumed tonight, 11.5. I'd probably take the over on that. Because you figure if they win, it's probably in the game. Actually, if they lose, I might slow down, but after the game, I might have, beers just to try to get through the evening. But talking about Purdy, but when people talk about game managers, like if it's working, I don't care. I don't think it's really an insult to them. Because like if you're inside the offense, and what's its face when the Niners was saying that, like you mentioned about Jordan Love, like if you're doing it right and it's successful, it works. But like you say, if you don't feel like he has like that Jordan Love can off his back foot, like Jordan Love is making plays, he's a playmaker. So if you mess up that timing, then they can really mess some stuff up. Like I'm looking forward to this defense just to be attacking. I think the hugest thing is getting pressure on Purdy. And when people say that, because I think it was Wyatt that there was a clip and Niner fans were freaking out about. But like I think that's like people say, well, if you get pressure on him, he throws interceptions. Yeah, that's every quarterback that's ever played football.
There's a reason that's the key to victory.
Yeah, like Tom Brady when he lost to the Giants, that's because the Giants got pressure on him right up the middle, and it messes up your timing, it messes up everything. Not even sacks or interception, just messes up the timing that they have to roll out, especially if it's not a mobile dude. So I think it's a key to both sides. Like if they get at Jordan Love and they're sacking him, it's not easy to throw the football when you're being sacked. Yeah. So like I want this defense to come out, punch some people in the face, not hurt people. I know some people are talking about. I'm not talking about that. Yeah. But I thought that was, I don't know. I thought that was dumb. That whole thing was going on.
Look, I'm fine hitting them very hard as you can in a clean manner. Or if it's on if it's one of those things where it's like the quarterback throws the ball and you crack them and it's within the 2 steps, do it. Like hit them. You have 2 steps to hit them. But yeah, it's the other stuff where it's like, dude, I get what you're saying, but it's not 1980 anymore. You can't do that.
Yeah, I think you went a little bit too far now. But yeah, I'm all about it because I always say it. Like, make them remember your name. Like, if you're a defensive player and you're heading to quarterback, make them that night be like, wow, that hit. But yeah, you're not purposely trying to take someone out and like try to like hurt them. You're just trying to hit them as hard as you can to make them fluster them or whatever. Just playing football. But anyways, but yeah. So CMC. All right, I played Christian McCaffrey in fantasy football.
Yeah,
and I went to bed early that night. I remember watching this game, and I was in bed, and I'm telling my wife, turn this freaking game off. Like everything, touchdown, like screen passes, everything. I was driving me nuts. So how do the Packers contain him? And like, can they? Because obviously, I don't think that they're gonna stop him. No. But can they contain him? And was someone saying that? Was it him that is banged up?
He was banged up, and then he hurt his calf like the last week of the season, which was they took him out of the game. But he was only going to play a small portion of the game anyways. So it was a calf injury, but he's been full practice. So like dude's back, he's healthy. I don't think you can't, especially a defense like ours that we've shown run defense, not our strong suit, hasn't been for the last 10 years. You can't stop McCaffrey. It's just slowing him down. And a big way to do that is if you get a lead. They can't rely on the run game as much. They're always going to go, they're going to use McCaffrey in the pass game, whatever. But I don't know, man. You can't cancel him out. He's too good. But then you also have to remember the last time Barry played this 49ers team, we kept them to 13 points total. 7 of those are from a special teams play. So technically 6 points. We kept this 49er offense. The only 2 difference, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy instead of Jimmy G. That's the difference on the offense right now. Granted, McCaffrey gives you more points and he's worth the touchdown, but I don't think it's something to panic about too much with this offense. But McCaffrey is someone that's he can change a game, dude. He can change a game.
Yeah, most definitely. And then this comment is so true too. You can't allow them to get pressure before. You can't let them get knocking off the timing roads and also covering good. But that threw me off on my next question that was asked. But do you know of any other injuries? The Niners are pretty healthy, but I think that they could come out rusty. I don't expect them to. I don't like the bye weeks as Packers fans because I've been there.
I was the same way. I hated the bye week.
Because you come out rusty, it seems like. And then I'm not sure that Niners. Well, I'm not banking on that. The Niners they're going to come out to play. They're going to be balling. They're going to be ready. They the same way I feel like the Packers did with the Bears. It's almost like there's pressure to beat them because you got such a streak going. The Niners have beat the Packers 4 times in a row in the playoffs. I feel like obviously they want to win a playoff to begin with, but they just kind of feel like they have that upper hand. But I forgot I was going there. Yeah, but what do you know about injuries? You're more in the know than I am.
Yeah, so I was bringing it up. Right now, the 49ers have 2 players that have a game designation. So Dre Greenlaw, their linebacker, he's the guy that got kicked out of that Eagles game for hitting the security guard in the face with his finger early in the year. So he's questionable with an Achilles injury. And then Clayland Farrell, their DN. So a big guy. So he's a big guy. He does a lot in the run game. He's out. He's one of the few defensive linemen that were there from the start of the year that has a big impact. So he's out of there. I think that will be helpful for Aaron Jones in the run game. But those are pretty much it for them, dude. Their injury report's nothing like the Packers.
Oh yeah. Well, and having that time off is obviously that's where it really benefits you.
That's where it helps you.
When you have that bye week and the week before they didn't really care because they had it locked up. But and for the Packers, I think Jair is going to go. I think Christian Watson. I was hearing that he was fully good. Last week he was. I don't know if he was 100%. I think that I saw he's 100% now. So look for him to be a big weapon this week.
You saw last week on those they would put those clips of he didn't have that many catches, but then you saw Dobbs catching a wide open pass because Watson had literally 3 people on him. The speed of that man. It doesn't matter if he's catching the ball or not. The speed alone is just impactful to have on the field. And him and Musgrave healthy now, that's the thing with this team is we want to talk about all these stats from earlier in the year. They put out some stats. I think it was The Athletic. Ted something put how the 49ers are great in areas where the Packers are awful. Every stat this year is from a completely injured team, which is crazy to say, but right now, we're probably the most healthy we've been all year because we started week 1 with so many players on IR or hurt. This team is completely different from week 1. So all this stuff people are saying is just completely insane. We haven't had our starting skill weapons play a game together until right now. That's how crazy it has been for this team.
Yeah, and that's what absolutely drives me nuts about when people talk about the Packers. They're bringing up the record. They're bringing up a lot of stats. In the middle of the season doesn't matter to me, especially not now, not in the playoffs. None of it matters. But this team, like you said, is not the same team from back then. They're healthier. And not even that. Jordan Love is playing better. I feel he's so comfortable, and not just him. This offense, because even Colin Cowherd said it. He's I've never seen a jump from a quarterback mid-season like this. Usually it's after off season or whatever. But it's not just Jordan Love. It's this offense because they're so young and they're growing together. I feel at Thanksgiving game or somewhere in there, it just clicked, and they're like, oh, it's kind of like when I was like in math back in the day. I'm not good at math, and teacher taught you something like, oh, so you minus it. But I feel like
oh, that's a minus, not a plus. I got it.
Yeah, I thought that was division, but I feel like it all started clicking together. This team is not the same. I think you can take all those stats, throw them out the window. They do not matter. This team is gonna it's gonna be a battle, but I hope it is. I hope that this team doesn't come out and get. I don't even like to have those thoughts pop in my head, but with being a young team, this is a huge game. But I don't think it will be. I think that this game is going to be close. But I saw a comment up here, but I think I lost it. But the weather, there's what's the weather in San Francisco? Right here, here's this comment. Show some love here. Weather will play a factor. Purdy is almost not a rain game quarterback as of late. Yep. I'm not sure. I mean, being a quarterback is hard in the rain. Like being a receiver, I got to imagine. I'm not even a good person in the rain. Like you get me around some rain, I don't want to talk. Like, get me to the car. Yeah, like you don't try to stop and talk to me in the rain. I'm not playing football in the rain. It's got to be miserable. But I'm not sure what the actual weather is. Do you got it up there? Or what?
Yeah, I brought it up. It's supposed to. It's drizzling now. It's supposed to rain pretty much the entire game. It's 65% chance and higher the whole game.
Yeah, so I think that a rain game. I mean, obviously, it's going to affect both sides. It's going to affect the Packers too. I don't think what passing game I think handles it best. What defenders have the right cleats on or aren't slipping as much. But I think it says both teams are going to run the ball probably a lot more than maybe they would, because I think running the ball. But and then like fumbles is going to be a thing. Like who might get a fumble, even a receiver, kick return, punt. Like rain is stupid. Like I would take snow over rain any day of the week, especially playing football. But yeah, like how do you think that it'll affect this thing over here?
I think the big thing is just go like you hit it. It's going to be relying on the run game a little bit more, which honestly, they have Christian McCaffrey, but right now there's not a running back I would take over Aaron Jones. Like Aaron Jones, four games in a row with 100 yards rushing. He's fresh. Like you cannot emphasize enough how crazy important it's been that he's had fresh legs going into this year right now. Like McCaffrey's going to be good, but that's the thing right now is like Jones is going to be just as good. The way this offense is moving and the way this offensive line has been blocking, minus the first 3 plays of the Dallas game, it's fine. They can cancel each other out. And then if you go to the passing game, the thing is we have literally 6 receivers that you don't know who to game plan for. We've had a 100-yard receiver in the last, same thing, maybe 4 games, same as Aaron Jones, I think, or maybe 3 games. It was Bo Melton, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs now. Like, those are 3 different players. Who's going to be this week? You don't know. You can't game plan for it. So, the rain's going to play a factor. Yeah, it might make the gripping the ball a little bit harder for the quarterback, might make catching a little bit hard for the receiver. That's fine. What do they have? 3 weapons that they have to worry about catching the ball? We have 8. So if a couple people are struggling, that's fine. We got 6 more to throw into the mix that can handle it,
That's the thing with Jordan Love is he doesn't care about the number on your jersey, doesn't care about the name on the back. Like if you are open, he's going to get the ball to you. And like you said, like they don't know who to game plan for. We don't have a Devontae Adams who it's like we got to get this guy the ball. Like we have, I mean, obviously there's certain guys they probably game plan for every week. We're like, hey, we want to get this guy. We think there's favorable matchups or whatever. But like they'll throw it to anyone. Like Christian Watts and Jaden Reed, Wicks, like dude, they do not care. And so it could be our 4th wide receiver just goes off one game and gets a lion's share, as they say. But trying to use big words that they use over here on real podcasts. But but like the Niners, they got Samuels, who's a huge weapon. But I think that the rain is going to be a huge factor. It depends how much it's raining, but it's going to affect both sides. But really, I think it matters like who's going to make more mistakes then. Because in rain, there's going to be some fumbles. Like I would say, dude, there could be 2 or 3 if it's raining hard enough and it's real sloshy. It depends if it's like sprinkling. I'm assuming they're going to have some gloves and try to. But like, these running backs, those guys, dude, they really hack at the ball. I can't. Whenever I watch a game, you ever watch a game and they're like carrying the ball and some guy will just come in and just punch their forearm. It's like, how do you hold that ball? My whole body would shut down.
There's some times where you see, you're like, okay, yeah, you could. That makes sense. Like there's some fumbles you can't be mad at. And that's one of them, where
for
they're just
real.
getting just Charlie horse nonstop. Or even the ones where like they nail you perfectly with the top of their helmet. Like,
Yeah,
how are
that
you going to
ball's
hold on
coming
to the
out.
ball? Yeah, it's gone, dude. Just hope someone's there to recover it.
Yeah, that's just science. Like whenever someone's like, "Oh, he fumbled the ball," my dude ran in at him full speed, and his helmet hit the ball and his arm.
Yeah.
Right, his whole. It's gonna pop out. What do you think? He's freaking Hercules? Like it's just physics. But do you have a score prediction for this game?
I don't know, man. So this is the thing. I don't, for the Packers to win this game, not to say I don't trust Joe Barry, but this 49ers, like, it's strength versus strength right now. I have to go Packers because I'm a homer and I'm biased. I don't care. I'm going to go, it's a high scoring game. We scored 40 last time. I think we get close to it. I'm going to say 38-35 Packers.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's going to be close. I said 34-31, but the reason that I said 34-31 is that's what I said last week, and I felt like maybe it helped the Packers, like make me, they're like, no, we can beat that. So I'm hoping that they do it again. 34-31, I feel like it's probably a score I pick a lot. It's a lazy score prediction. I
think it's a great one. I'm fine with it.
I remember like when I said it, people were like, oh, you're going to depend on our kicker. We better not need a field goal to win this game. But and that's a key thing too. Obviously, Packers kicker struggling. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. That's gonna.
Not to cut you off, I'm really sorry.
No,
that's the one thing too, is like we say he's struggling, and yes, he's had an extra point in like the last 3 games. If you look at, someone tweeted out, you look at number wise, he's league average for a player, not just a rookie. He's league average for a player, a kicker at his position, which like Mason Crosby, it took like 4 years to get to. I think we just, the same way with like they would say like, oh, you guys been brainwashed with quarterback play. This handsome silver fox right here has just corrupted our minds on what a kicker should be, because he's been so consistent.
Yeah.
And it's just like, now we're league average. We're dealing with what everybody else deals with.
Yeah. And I think that he started off hot, right? Like started off good. And then, so I think it's like recency bias. Yeah. And so, yeah, it does seem like, cause I saw a stat, cause I don't even know the numbers. I don't keep up with kicker numbers, but it just seems like, missed extra point here. Yeah. So like, hopefully there's no missed extra point. And in a rain too, that's gonna be a thing with kicking on both sides and punting. Like this rain, I think is going to make this game. So maybe score predictions might not be as high, but I think if your quarterback and receiver are able to get open in the rain, like these defenders start slipping, there might be some easy touchdowns where a guy catches it, corner slips if they're in man, and he's just boom gone. Someone like Christian Watson. Hopefully it's only on our side.
Yeah,
not on their side.
Because that's your boy, Christian Watson.
Yeah, Christian Watson. Everyone says Christian Watson, my boy, because I defended him once. Because
how dare you like Packer players, man?
Yeah, how dare I defend a Packer player who just got rocked in his face, but he's made of glass, they say. But yeah. So I don't know what else we got. I said 34-31. I think it'll be a close game. Hopefully this Joe Barry defense shows up. I think it's going to be. Let me ask you this: if the Packers do, this defense does rock out. And they do, I wouldn't say shut them down, but they contain them. Does Joe Barry come back next season?
I think Joe Barry has. If we beat them, yes, I think he comes back. Unless by some, I don't know. I guess it depends how that plays out. But I think it's not the decision I like, because even just things I've read of just the metrics where we are, which is above my brain level to comprehend, or I just trust. Where someone's like, hey, bad number, I go, okay, yeah, you're probably right. It's a bad number. If we win today, I think it's really hard to fire Joe Barry. Yeah, with his contract's up, though. I don't know, Matt, with the hard questions. Dang it!
That's what makes it tough, because the Packers, they don't have to fire him, right? So I was like, there's no way. Like a few weeks ago, before this kind of playoff situation kind of popped up, I was like, there's no chance. There's utterly no chance he comes back, because they would have to give a new contract. I can't see Matt LaFleur at that time going up to those guys and be like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. 2-year extension, what are you guys thinking? What do you guys want to do? Want to give him a deal? Because that's when the defense kind of wasn't playing. But now I think that if it was me, no matter how this season ends, unless they just dominate defense and they go to the Super Bowl, the fairy tale ending, then obviously you'll bring them back. But if it ends in any other type of way, then I think you ask the players, like, what do you think? Like, bring in the defensive captains. Like, you try to say, like, do you like the scheme? Do you like what's I don't know how you do it. I'm sure they do that at the end of the season anyways.
Yeah.
Always. But, like, listen to the players. Because I think if the players like, yeah, we're buying in and that's, this is what we like, and maybe some things change because the defense got better, obviously. So maybe they tweak some stuff. Maybe Matt LaFleur to hand. I don't know what would happen there. But if the players like, we like this defense, and I think maybe then you do. But if the captains are like, we're not, sold, I think we could be better, I think whatever, then you don't. But I think because it doesn't matter what us fans think.
No.
It's what those players in the locker room, and you can't just depend solely on what the players think, because players, as Matt LaFleur being the coach, it all lands on him. So if he brings them back next year, and then the defense slides, and which I don't think that's what I was saying earlier in the year, is that there's so many good players on his team to play like how they were playing, like they were making people look like MVPs. Like everyone was offensive player of the week every week playing against Packers, but they cleaned that up.
Yeah, and they always say like, oh, it's not X's and O's, it's Jim and Joe's. Well, we got great Jim and Joe's. Our players are good. Like we have Rashawn, Kenny, Preston, Jair. Like we have the players. Quay in the middle too. Like that's not the question right now for me. It's when we get like last week we had Quay Walker lined up across CeeDee Lamb. Those are the X's and O's that could potentially lose you a game. And so I don't know, man. I think if he had a year left on his contract, I would say he'd be back. But like it gives Matt LaFleur such an easy out to say like, hey, we're going to interview people and we're going to hire the best man. Joe Barry's included in that search. And then they move on if they want to. Like it gives him such an easy out regardless of what happens. But who knows, man.
Yeah, that's perfect. I never thought about that. But they say, hey, we're going to interview anywhere. We'll interview Joe Barry too.
Yeah, like dude's still in consideration. But
but we'll see. And because I like aggressive defense. I like the defense that's going to come out and punch you in the mouth. And I like Rashawn Gary, like his attitude, like you see, like when they were celebrating in the locker room. I don't think it was this one before when he grabbed Matt LaFleur and just started shaking him, and he was giving his little post game thing. Dude, I absolutely love Rashawn Gary. I want to see him get a sack today. You know what I mean? I want to see him. What? I mean, but it's not all about sacks. I see a lot of people talking about Rashawn Gary. Well, he's not getting the numbers, but it's not all. It's about pressures. I don't know his numbers. I'm not like a stat guy, but absolutely, we need Rashawn Gary to ball out.
I got a question for you. I think it's the overlooked coordinator right now. That's the only time I've ever been told I was right. So thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, I had to put that up there.
Yeah, appreciate it. What about Rich Bisaccia? Our special teams is still struggling. Is highest paid special teams coordinator? Is he looked at, regardless of this game, whatever, doesn't matter? Is he looked at all? Of like, my dude.
I think, I think that's interesting because that's special teams, but he's also the assistant coach or whatever. Like they kind of like really gave him titles because they're just like, don't leave us. But like I don't know, like I assume he does other stuff too. But like I have no idea because he was everyone was, even Raiders fans were telling me like how great he was, and the Packers got lucky to have him. And he seemed like I like his attitude when he was like, "How about them Cowboys?" When he was leaving that going. I love that style. But yeah, the special teams isn't what you want. So I have no that's a tough question. That's for someone way smarter than me.
Yeah, I'm not answering it either. I just like Richie. I like Richie B, dude. He same thing of when he reminds me of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then when he said, "How about them Cowboys?" I was like, I like this.
Yeah. Guy. And I think people who watch film, people who actually know what they're talking about, other than me, not me.
Bring me in that category. I don't know either.
Like what's the problem with special teams? Like are players like way out of position? Are they obviously not being coached right? Or is it just some fluky stuff? Like I don't know. I don't watch film, and I definitely don't watch special teams film. But I feel like
you're not watching hours of just punts over and over again.
Yeah, that's not my. I might rewatch a game, but I'll rewatch a game from the previous week, and I'll just like I might as well crack a beer while I do this. Next thing you know, I'm watching the game. Like it's the first time I'm watching. Like no,
so, yelling at the TV still.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the guy to ask about that, but I think he's a huge motivator. It seems like it. So I think he should come back, but maybe I don't know. They got to change something though. That special teams has got to get better. Hopefully, maybe today, big special teams wins the game.
Punt return. I'll take. Texans had a punt return for a touchdown. We might as well follow suit.
Yeah, that's the point right here. is it Rich or is it the players? You know, I don't know. And sometimes if it's the players, if they're not in position, I think that's still kind of coaching. You got to make sure that the guys know what they're supposed to do and that you're busting them up when they are not doing what they're supposed to do. But special teams, I think, is weird because sometimes it's not guys who are always in the field, and it's like mistakes can happen. I don't know.
It's such a hard thing too because it's not obviously your best players. Like you're taking the leftover bunch and like, hey, I really hope you guys can do this for us. Whereas like,
a lot of them are just
good. Exactly, the good guys are playing, so it's like you're just hoping the backups can do something. So
I'd like to see
not on him at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll leave that question for a smarter person. But we're gonna wrap this thing up. Big shout out to Jimmy. You can find him on Game On Wisconsin. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, Jimmy_C08. That's the main place. All my stuff will go. Articles for Packer Report, stuff for Game On Wisconsin, Lombardi's Bar, all that's there. Just follow the Twitter and it'll pop up.
Yeah, he's putting out fantastic content. One of the smarter people on the Twitter world.
No, don't say that to me, dude. I am not.
Yeah, people start. No, because it's smarter than me, but that's not saying much. I'm the dumbest person with a platform talking about the Packers. We have a good time. Go Pack, go! Let's get a victory. I will be live at 7 p.m. Central Time for my watch party, and it's going to be on Instagram too. First time I'm going to do it on Instagram. I'm sure people are just going to tell me, "Why nobody cares? The game's on. Get off my screen." But we'll see what happens. But go Pack, go! Let's go beat up on the Niners. You know what I mean? We are out of here.